Good morning, students. Okay, so today we are going to move on the next topic, that is geography lesson number 6, that is population. So you can see the picture, land A and land B. So what is the difference in that? In land A, you can see there are minerals, vegetation is there, water reservoir is there, and in land B, what is added? You can see minerals, vegetation, reservoir is there, and plus people are there. That is human beings are there. So in land A, there is absence of human beings, and in land B, there is presence of human beings. So even if these vegetations, minerals, and reservoirs are available, if human being is not there, that cannot be utilized. So human beings play a very important role as an element of environment. You can see in the next picture, the people are doing different kinds of work. The ladies are carrying the water from the water reservoir. Then you can see the water is making the pot. Then the farmers are, the paddy fields are there. They are planting the plant. Then the next picture you can see there fishing is going on. And in the last you can see there the family is having the food. So people are both producers and consumers. From these pictures you can see that we humans, we utilize all the whatever the natural resources are there, we utilize them. So people are both producers and consumers. So we take the raw materials, we make how we want it, and we utilize them. So what is meant by population? You must have heard this word many times, but today we will see in detail what is population. Population is the total number of people living in an area. Within a particular area, the total number of people living, that is called population. Now, population is an important resource of any country. It is a very important resource of any country. Human resource means the wealth of a country. It can be put to proper use for a country's development. So the human resource it is very important. So if the human resource is more, we can it is considered as the wealth of the country. So why it is considered as wealth of the country? If the human resource is properly used, so it can bring a huge development in the country. So it is very important resource of the country population. The qualitative aspects of a population are important for a nation's economic and social progress. So whatever the qualitative aspects of population are very important for the nation's economic. So the nation's development economically and socially, it is totally dependent upon the population. The qualitative aspects of what are the qualitative. Suppose the population, the group of people are very well educated, literacy rate is high, or they are very creative. So that can be utilized and that can lead to the economic and social progress of a nation. The citizens of a country have to be educated, healthy, and skillful, uh, efficient for its rapid development. So, as I have said, the citizens of the country has to be educated. They should be well healthy, then skillful means the different arts are there, such as that carpentry is there, pottery is there, that different small scale industries require that skills that should be there. Then if it is there efficient, then it leads to rapid development. Then a sudden development can be done. Human beings are producers and consumers of Earth's resources. So whatever the resources are present on Earth's surface, we know that Earth is having abundant minerals, vegetation, different minerals are there, such as the minerals we explore from the Earth's crust. So humans are the producers and consumers of Earth's resources. Therefore, it's important to know how many people are there in the country. So it is very important how many people are, what is the total number of people in the country. where do they live, how and why their numbers are increasing, and what is the lifestyle, how they live, then why their numbers are increasing. So what are their characteristics. So if a certain population is increasing in particular area, so why that number is increasing, that has to be found out. And what are their characteristics, means what are the features of theirs. The Census of India provides us with information regarding the population of our country. So census are done. So Census of India provides us with the information. So whatever information we need related to the population of our country, that is provided by the census. Now census is nothing but that counting. You must have seen the people are coming to your doors and they're asking for various type of information, how many members are there in the family, the qualification and all that. So every 10 years that counting of population, number of people is done, that is census. So we are primarily concerned with the three major questions about the population. So these are the main three questions which we are very much concerned with the population. Means we are very eager to know the population size and distribution, how many people are there and where they are located. So population size and distribution means now how many people are there, means size you came to know, and where they are located means where they are distributed in the area. So which area is more populated, which is less populated, which is the medium populated. You can the population growth and progress of population change. Now, how has the population grown and changed through time? So the population does not remain same in a particular area. It varies. So as the time changes, it may become more dense or it may become sparse. So that has to be find out from time to time. Characteristics or qualities of the population. What are their age? These are the characteristics. What are their age, sex, female or male, composition, literacy level, how much qualification educated they are, then occupation structure, means what occupation they are carried out, then health conditions. Suppose means how are they related to, are they having any diseases? Means all these things are the characteristics of the population. Means we are when the total counting of the people is done, these also points are considered. So according to this the information is collected. Now what is population distribution? Now you can see the dark color, you can see the index upside, number of people per kilometer. So the darkest color is more than 500. So little dark is 251 to 500, and little more faint, that is 101 to 250, and very light, that is less than 100. So how is the population distributed? You can see the dark color is where you can see the states, that is up north side you can see Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal. You can see these are the dark. Then downside south you can see Kerala is there and Tamil Nadu is there. Then 251 to 500 you can see that which states are there: Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha, then Assam, Meghalaya. These are between 251 to 500, and less than 100 you can see towards the north Jammu and Kashmir is there, then Himachal Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand. Then towards the east, Arunachal Pradesh is there, Nagaland, Manipur, Meghalaya, Sikkim, and in the center you can say New Delhi, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh. So, what is population distribution? Population distribution refers to where the people are situated in a given area. Means where the peoples are distribution means what? Where the peoples are located means they are you can say not concentrated on one place. Okay, where they are distributed is where the people are situated in a given area. So you can see in the picture This is the dot method. One dot, you can say 1 dot is equal to 2 lakh people. So by the concentration of dots, you can see, we have already seen in the previous figure that, so these are more dots are there that are most populated states. Now, considering the India, the population distribution and density, we all know that 70% of the earth is covered by the water, then 6% is desert, 6% is very cold, and mountainous is 5%, and cannot grow any food or anything, that is 5%, and forest area is 5%. So only 3% is that area where is perfect for the human being to live. So next, land area of the world. So total land of the so in the diagram you can see only 2.4% is the land available. India is having only 2.4% of land. India is occupied. And world population, among them 17.5% of India's population is there. This total population of the world, among them 70.5% India's population is there. Okay. Now observe the figure and see. State with highest population density. See, we have already seen that Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. States with lower population density. Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So these are with the lowest population. Now downside you can see less than 100. And which states are there? Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. 102, 1 to 250, Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Nagaland, Manipur, Meghalaya, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. Now 251 to 500, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha, Jharkhand, Assam, Tripura. Now 251 to 500, you can see that is yellow color. From this right side figure, you can see that color is, they are differentiating with the colors, and here by the dot, 1 dot method. More than 500, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, New Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Lakshadweep, Pondicherry, Dinu Daman and Dadar Nagar Haveli. So these are having population more than 500. Okay, same thing is there, but the figure you can see here directly the state names are there. So you can directly know from here. Now India's data as per census 2011 and Brazil's data as per census 2010. Now population of India was 121 crores and Brazil's 19 crores. World's rank according to the population. So according to the population in world, India ranks second and Brazil ranks fifth. World's rank according to area. So area, how much area? So 7 we are having, and this is having, Brazil is having 5. Percentage of land area of the world's occupied. So land area, percentage of land area of the world's, out of the whole world, how much we are occupying. India is occupying 2.41% and Brazil is occupying 5.6% of land area. Percentage of world population in the country. So out of total population of the world, how much India is contributing to the population? 17.5% and Brazil is 2.71%. Average population density is 282 persons per square kilometer. And here only 23 persons per square kilometer. Now here downside you can see the percentage of land area of the world occupied by India and Brazil. See, India is 2%, Brazil is 6%, and rest of the world is 92%. Population, percentage of world population in the country, India is contributing 17%, Brazil is contributing 3%. Now correlate the climate and physiography of India with its population distribution and write a note on it. Some areas in the country are very densely populated and some are thinly populated. Population is thus unevenly distributed because there is a lot of diversity in the physical feature and climate of different regions of India. So why this uneven distribution is there? Because of the physical features, the physiography we have studied in India, and the climate also is different in different regions of India. The soil brought by the Himalayan rivers has made the North Indian plains very fertile. Except Rajasthan to the west, this whole region is very suitable for human habitation. Hence, the population here is very dense. So, what is the reason that North Indian plains are densely populated? Why? Because the soil brought by the rivers, Himalayan rivers, has made the plain. So, there the soil is very fertile and it is very suitable for the human habitation over there. Why? Because they can practice the agriculture over there, and hence this is densely, very dense populated. Only the Rajasthan is not there densely populated because it is having the deserts. Thus, areas in the river basin regions with a good climate and good facility are densely populated. So the areas which are having river basin regions and very good climate is there and very good facilities are present. So there obviously that area is going to be densely populated. Example, North Indian plains of the country, Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Pune, Bengaluru, Chennai, etc. So these are the places which are densely populated. The desert regions like Rajasthan, remote hilly regions like the Himalayas, dense forest areas like the Andaman and Nicobar Islands are sparsely populated because of inaccessibility, absence of facilities, and tough life. So, in these regions are very less populated. Why? Because of the hilly regions are there, dense forests are there, and most important that is the good facilities are not available over there. The people who will be living there, they have to face the tough life. So transport facility is not there, accessibility is not there. So they have to face the tough life. Assam and most of the peninsular states have moderate population densities. Hilly, dissected and rocky nature of the terrain, moderate to low rainfall, shallow and less fertile soils have increased population densities in these areas. So these are also moderately populated. Means medium population is there. Why? Because of the hilly region, rocky nature. The topology is rocky here, and the rainfall is also less, moderate to low, and shallow and less fertile land is there. And the soil also shallow and less fertile soils are available. So the population is not dense over here in this area. Now you can see the figure population distribution of Brazil. So here towards the left it is the dot method. One dot is equal to 2 lakh people. So in which area is population greatly concentrated? Means where it is more population, densely populated. So you can see towards the east and south. You can see more dots are there. So towards the south and east area. In which area is the distribution of population sparse? It's very less. West, central, and north. You can see that this western side, central, and northern side, very less dots you can see. That is very less population you can see there. Identify the type of map showing distribution. Figure 6.2 is a dot method, and this figure 6.2b is choropleth method. Here you can see the name of the states are given, name of the places are given over here, and they are using the different shades of colors. Prepare a note on factors responsible for the uneven distribution of population based on study of Brazil you have made so far. So we have studied the physiography of both the countries India and Brazil. So according to that, why the uneven distribution of population is there. So you have to make a note on that. The distribution of population is very uneven in Brazil. The density of population is more in eastern coastal region due to well-developed agriculture and industries. So as we have seen, the eastern coastal region is densely populated due to the well-developed agriculture and industrial area. On the other hand, the interior in the Amazon basin is very sparsely populated because of unfavorable climatic conditions, heavy rainfall, inaccessible and dense forest. Due to dense forest, heavy rainfall, climate is not good, unfavorable. These are the barrier to development of human settlements there. So human settlement cannot be there due to the unfavorable climatic condition. Rainfall is heavy, rainfall is there, dense forest is there. So therefore, settlement occurs only in few places in Amazon basin. Southern part has favorable climate, abundant rainfall, fertile soil, hence the density is high there. The southern part is having favorable climate, where more rainfall is there, fertile soil is there, and because of this, density of population is moreover. In the Brazilian highland, density of population is moderate and less in the central and western part of Brazil. So it is less in the central and western part, and in the highlands it is moderate. So now we will see the population composition. Population composition means the structure of a population. So how is the structure of the population? It helps us to know how many are male or female, which age group they belong to how educated they are, what are their income levels, what type of occupations they are employed in, and their health conditions. Thus, we understand the structure and quality of the population by studying the above composition factors. So, in composition, it consists of the whether they are male or female, the age group, how much educated they are, then what are the income levels, what occupation they are practicing, then what are their employment is there, and then the health conditions. These consist of these are the factors which are included in the population composition. Then sex ratio. What is now sex ratio? As per the gender, population can be divided into males and females. So we all know that the population is divided into two groups, that is as per the gender, the males and females. In a population when both the genders are around the same number, it indicates a balanced population. When number of males and females are same, then it is called balanced population. Sex ratio means the number of females per 100 males in a region at a time. This information is an important social indicator to measure the extent of equality between males and females in a society at a given time. So when the sex ratio means the number of females per 1,000 males in a region at a time. So this is very important to know the social equality between the males and females in a society at a particular given time. If it is balanced, then it is said that the social condition of that is good. When for every 100 males, the number of female is less. If the number of female is less, then the sex ratio is said to be low. When for every 100 males, the number of female is more. And if it is more, the number of females are more, then the sex ratio is said to be high. On the empowerment of females, the treatment given to them, infanticide, etc. So the sex ratio depends on of female. Okay, treatment given to the female, and whatever the infanticides are there, that you must have heard that the nowadays that it is a crime to kill the girl child. So previously it was practiced that. So that is infanticide. So the sex ratio of Brazil, we will see now in the figure. You can see it is rising, and downside in India you can see how it is in 71, then in 81. It is not growing, straight growing. It is up and down. So the sex ratio of Brazil has been more than 1,000 since decades. Since decades, you can see it is more than 1,000, which means sex ratio is high. So in Brazil, you can see that the sex ratio is high. In India, men outnumber women. We see fluctuation in the sex ratio since few decades. So fluctuation is there. I said up and down is there in India. You can see the sex ratio up and down. So that is fluctuation in the sex ratio since few decades. The sex ratio in India has always remained unfavorable to female. So it is very unfavorable towards the female. There has been a slight increase in the sex ratio after 91. So after 91, you can see there is the graph is little bit straight, moving up after 91. Thus, we conclude that the sex ratio in India is low. So you can conclude sex ratio in India is low and it is high in Brazil. Now, age and sex pyramid. The division of population into different age groups is called age structure of the population. So, division of population into different age groups is called age structure of the population. A study of this gives us an idea about the number of people, the number of persons in different age groups. Projection of population by understanding the proportion of active and dependent population, we get to know the social and economic structure of a nation. Structure of a nation. To be an important degree, a person's age influences what he needs, buys, does, and his capacity to perform. So, by studying the age groups, different age groups, we can understand how much we are having the adults are there, how much the senior citizens are there, how many the childs are there. And according to the age group, we can find out means the person's needs and what are the demands and needs and what are the capacities according to the age group. Now we will see in detail. The population of a nation is generally grouped into broad categories. Three broad categories are they have made. The children below 15 years of age. It mainly consists of the young children. So below 15 years are young children. This group is unproductive. Hence it is called dependent age group. These are why they are said unproductive, because they don't produce anything or they don't earn themselves. So they are totally dependent on the parents. They totally depend on their guardians for their education and upbringing. So for the education or for whatever their daily needs and their growth, they are totally dependent upon their parents. They need to be provided with food, clothing, education, and medical care. Then the next is working age, that is 15 to 59 years. This age group consists of young and adult persons. So this age group is of young and adult persons. This is a productive age group. This group is active in service and business. As they are productive, if they are working, they are active in service and business. They directly participate in the economic activities of a region. So they play a very important role in the economic activity of a region. In regions where the population of this in the region where the proportion of population is more, especially the youth, development is rapid. So you can say where the working age, the proportion of this working age population is more, that means there are youth are more and development is high. Age 60 years and above. So these are senior citizens. This group mainly includes aged persons, though people in this age group are not productive, even though they are not working, serving anywhere. Other age groups gets the advantage of the knowledge and experience. But the other age group, that is the working age group and the children below 15 years, they get the advantage and the knowledge and their experience, whatever experience they have got, this helps them, the other age group people. Thus, they become a valuable asset to the whole society. So, they are very valuable to the society. Now, in this, you can say age and sex pyramid. Now, you can see towards the left, age groups are there. So, from 0 to 4, then 5 to say, here where different age groups are given. You can see 0 to 4, then 10 to 14 to 15, sorry, 14 to 10 to 14, then 15 to 19, 20 to 24, 25 to 29. Like that age groups are given. Then blue color is dot. That blue, you can say males are there. Red color female. These are the percentage of population. Now, the age sex pyramid of Brazil and India are shown here. It is known as population pyramid. It is a bar chart that shows the distribution of population by age and sex. So, this is showing the distribution of population by age and sex. Male and female, they are saying, and the age also. Age group is also given over here. The horizontal bar show the percentage of males and females in each age group. Horizontal bar. The younger age are at the bottom and older age are at the top. So younger age, you can see the age groups are there. So from downside, they are starting. So younger age are towards the base and older age are towards the top. While males on the left and females on the right. Brazil's population is slowly becoming older. That is, it has a higher proportion of old age people. So it is having high proportion of old age people. The number of young population is more. The sex ratio is high here. So if the number of young population is more, the sex ratio is higher. We have already seen that Brazil is having sex ratio is high over there. Now this is of India. Its base is wide, which means high birth rate, and the top is narrow. Means birth rate is more. The proportion of youth, that is between 15 to 24, and children is more here. Working population, that is 15 to 59 years, is also more because the youth population is more. So in India, the youth population is more. The proportion of male is more than female in the age group of 0 to 34. So in the age group of 0 to 34, the proportion of male is more than the female. 0 to 34. Population growth rate now. Population is a dynamic phenomena. The number, the distribution, composition, and the composition of the population is constantly changing. So it is constantly changing. The number, the distribution, and the composition. This is because of the interaction of three processes, namely birth, death, and migration. This is happening, the constantly changing. Why? Because of the three process, that is the birth, death, and the migration. Population growth is the increase in the number of individuals in a population during a specific period, say during the last 10 years. So the population is growth is when the increase in the number of individuals are more in the population in a particular period. Population growth rate. The rate of the pace of population increase is studied in percent per annum. Example, a rate of increase of 2% per annum means that in a given year, there was an increase of 2% for every 100 persons in the base population. Means for 100 persons, 2% are increasing in the base population. This is referred to as the annual growth rate. It measures how fast the size of the population is changing. The rate of growth of population has reduced considerably in Brazil. You can see the growth rate of Brazil, a population of Brazil, 0.3, 1.1, then 1.75, 2.3, then it is becoming 3. So here, growth rate of population is there. India's population growth rate was higher in till 1971. Till 71, you can see it was higher. Then this rate stabilized. Then it has become stable. The rate of population growth is now declining, but the population is still growing. In the rate means that you can say the intensity. The intensity of population growth is now declining, but slowly the population is still growing. From 2011 to 2001 to 2011, India's population increased by 18.2 crores. So from 2001 till 2011, it has been increased by 18.2 crores. The main cause of the rate of growth of Indian population has been the rapid decline in the death rate. What is the main reason to increase the population? Rate of growth is more. Why? Because of the decline in death rate. In 1980, till 1980, high birth rates and declining death rates lead to a large difference between birth rate and death rate, in resulting in higher rates of population growth. So, till 1980, high birth rates were there and declining of death rate was there. Means birth rates were more and death rate was low. And because of the large difference was there in the birth rate and death rate, that has resulted in the higher rate of population growth. It is essential to realize that India has a very large population. When a low annual rate is applied to a very large population, it yields a large absolute increase. When more than a billion people increase even at a lower rate, the total number being added becomes very huge. Because of the more population is there, the very large population of we are having in India. So even if the population is increasing very slowly, the rate is very slow, then also the total number are being added becomes very huge. Why? Because the population is only more. Even if the rate is slow, then also the population is going to be very high, is added and becoming very huge. Now, what is life expectancy? The average number of years a person born in a country is expected to live. Means how many number of years the person, once the person is born, how many years the person is going to live in the country, if current mortality rate continues to apply. Increase in life expectancy not only means more people living longer, but it also suggests that fewer children are dying. So when the increase in life expectancy is there, that doesn't only mean that the people are living very long life. They are living more days, but it also says that the children are the death of the children are less. Decrease in infant mortality and deaths of young adults from diseases, war, accidents, etc. means that more people live long enough to get old. So, uh, 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 death due to the accidents, war, diseases, that is also minimized. So, because of that, the peoples are living a long enough life till they get the older. So, that is decrease in the infant mortality and death of the young. So, you can see here life expectancy in Brazil. So, how it is increasing. Here in India also it is increasing. Increase in life expectancy is an indicator of development of that society. So when the increase in life expectancy is there, that is the indicator that the development in the society is improvement in health facilities, progress in medical field. So whatever the medical facilities are given that are improved, much more progress is there in medical field. Access to nutritional food leads to an increase in average life expectancy. And whatever the nutrition food is required by the children, that is also attained. So the increase in average life expectancy is done. In most of the developing countries, life expectancy is still less. Lack of healthcare facilities and treatment because of low income. So in many other countries, the life expectancy is still less. So why that is because of there no good health facilities are given and treatments are given. Why? Because of the low income. But with socio-economic development, it is increasing. Is there a relationship between increase in life expectancy and growth of population? If yes, how? So, what the question is asked, is there any relationship between the life expectancy and growth of population? And if it is yes, then how it is? So, it is yes. And what is the reason? If life expectancy increases, the death rate decreases. If the person is going to live a long life, then obviously that means that the death rate has decreased. So it would mean population increase, and as a result, the population is increasing. Now we will see the literacy rate. A person who can read and write is called a literate person. The person who is able to read and write is called literate person. According to the census of 2001, a person aged 7 years and above who can read and write with understanding it in any language is treated as literate. A region does not develop because it has a large population. It is decided on the quality of population it has. Literacy is a very important quality of a population. So we have seen earlier that uh, uh, population is a very good resource, act as a development for the development of the country. But it doesn't mean that the large population more developed country will be there. No, it depends upon the group. How is the group? The kind of group. That literacy, whether the group of people are literate or well qualified are there. So literacy plays very important role. Literacy is very important quality of a population. Only an informed and educated citizen can make intelligent choices and undertake research and development projects. It is very true. Only the well-educated and very informed uh, can make intelligent choices. The good choices can be made only if the citizens are educated and undertake the research. If they are well educated, they can go to the research and development projects. Literacy leads to the development of a civilized and progressive society. So because of literacy, it leads to the development of a civilized and progressive society. It helps in eradicating undesirable customs, traditions, and blind faith. So whatever the customs, traditions are there, and whatever the blind beliefs are there, such as the superstitions and all, that will be not practiced if the people are well educated. Low level of literacy are a serious obstacle for economic improvement. So if the literacy level is very low, that becomes an obstacle for the economic improvement. So the economic means if the peoples are not well educated, they will not get the employment on a good job. So the financial condition will be not good. So it obviously will affect the economic condition of the nation. If the literacy level is high and educational attainment is of higher standard, the country is considered to be socially and economically developed. And if the literacy rate is very high, then whatever the educational target is, the attainment will be high, and the country will be socially and economically developed. Now we can see literacy rate of Brazil. It is was in 81, 74.6, then 80. So it is rising. In India, see, in 81 it was just 40.8, and in Brazil we have seen it was 74.6. So we can see there is a lot of difference in the literacy rate. Now think about it. Considering the above discussion, what should be done so that our manpower is utilized properly, sex ratio improved, population growth is controlled? Write 2 or 3 sentences on each. So we have studied whatever the population related features were there. So what should be done to utilize the manpower? How to improve the sex ratio and population? How to control the growth of population? Manpower refers to the human resource of a country. The higher the population, the greater the manpower. The increased population can be great asset if it is used properly and productively. So if the manpower means what? Manpower refers to the human resource of a country. But the higher population is there, that should the manpower will be more. But that should be utilized properly and productively. Then only it can work and it can contribute to the economic development of the country. Now, steps to utilize manpower. Providing, what are the steps? Providing education and improving the standard of education enables the people of a country to gain appropriate skills and knowledge. So first thing, that education should be provided. Then improving the standard of education should be improved. That will help the people to gain the skills, whatever the appropriate skills and knowledge they will be able to get. Based on the skill, the manpower can be classified as skilled and unskilled sector and can be placed in various industries. Then, depending on the skill, the population can be divided into skilled and unskilled, and according to that, they can be appointed in the various industries. Providing basic health facilities to all sections of laborer aids increased productivity and prevents employing refraining from work due to health issues. So basic the health facility should be provided to the labor vehicle section, that is the labor section, so that whatever if they are having given the good health facilities, Whatever the health issues will be there, that will be not there, and they will help to increase the productivity. In large scale sectors, many training programs can be conducted to improve the talent hidden in the employees. So where the large sectors are there, big industries are there, many training programs should be conducted, so that whatever the hidden talent is there in the working section, the employees, that can be developed. Now, the number of female per thousand men is referred to the sex ratio. So we have seen what is the sex ratio. Generally, it is in a country like India, the sex ratio is very poor. So in India, the sex ratio is very poor. So how to improve it? Steps to improve the sex ratio: educating and creating awareness among the masses about the role of women in the development of a country may improve the sex ratio. So that education should be given and awareness should be created among the big population, that population of the country, that what is the role of the woman, how they help in development of the country. So this will help to improve the sex ratio, making sure that the laws against female for forticide and infanticides are followed properly. So the rules which are made so that the female child will be survived, they will be protected. So that should be followed strictly. Preventing child marriage to avoid the mortality of young girls. So that child marriage should be stopped, so that the mortality rate of the so to avoid the mortality rate of young girls. Granting equal rights to women and making them enjoy equal opportunity on par with men. So whatever the rights are there, that should be equally given to the women, and that they should be allowed to enjoy them. Equal opportunity should be given. Means equal rights and opportunity should be given to the woman as same as the men. Increasing the self-estimate of women through education, employment, and independence. So whatever the strength is there in the woman, the capacity, capability of is there, that should be uh, given more facilities so that it can be developed through education, employment, and independence. Independence should also be given to the woman. Increasing population is always a concern and pose a serious threat to the economic development of the country. So increasing population is always a very big issue that are always a threaten to the economic development of the country. So how to control the population? Steps to control population: making people, especially the rural masses, understand about the problem faced due to increased population. So people should be given the knowledge. They should be awareness should be created among the people, especially the rural people. Uh, they should be made aware that how the if the population is increased, what problems they are going to face in future. Adopting various birth control methods. So whatever the birth control methods are there, they should be adopted. Providing education and eradication of poverty, which indirectly helps in population control. So education should be given to them, that will help to overcome the poverty, which indirectly helps in population control. An educated person can understand the consequence of having too many children. So if the person is educated, he will understand if he is having more children, so what problems he will be facing. Similarly, if poverty is eradicated, there will be an end to child labor. And if the poverty is ended, then child labor automatically will child labor will be ended. Child labor persuade a poor man to have children and send them to jobs to earn for himself and his family. So the example is the beggars, the children begging you can see on the street and anywhere. That is the example of this. So if the poverty is there, then the man, what he does, the children are there in the, he will have more children, and there he will send the children to earn for himself and his family. So poverty should be removed. Now, do you know? Census of India conducts enumeration of poverty every 10 years. Similarly, in Brazil, IBGE, that is Brazilian Institute of Geography and Statistics, carries out census every 10 years. The first census survey of both the countries was carried out in 1872. In India, census is conducted at the start of the decade. In India, it was in start of the decade, and in Brazil, it is end of the decade. Okay, so we will now revise what we have learned. An important resource of any country, is the population. The qualitative aspects of a population are important for a nation's economic and social progress. The climate and physiography of India affects its population and distribution. So, what is the climate and physiography? Affects the population and population distribution. According to Census 2011, India's population is around 121 crores. Second most populous country in the world is India. Percentage of land area of the world occupied by India is 2.41. And that of percentage of world population residing in India is 17.5. Now, as per Census 2021, India's average population density is 382 persons per square kilometers. Now, India's population distribution is uneven. It is not even. Factors that play an important role in the population distribution is physiography and climate. These are the most important factors. Factors due to which human settlements have established in some parts of many centuries. That is land and availability of water. Reasons for a proportion of the population getting concentrated in a few places like the northern plains of India and a few major cities. That is, trade is one of the reasons. Trade is carried. In mountainous hilly regions, dry desert areas, dense, that is inaccessibility and absence. So in hilly regions and dry desert areas, they are inaccessible and most populated country in the South American continent is Brazil. According to the census of 2010, population of Brazil is 19. Population-wise, Brazil ranks 5th in the world. With respect to land area, Brazil ranks 5th in the world. Percentage of total land area of the world occupied by Brazil is 5.6. Percentage of world population residing in Brazil, 2.78. Density of population of Brazil is around 23% per square kilometer. Again, the distribution of population is uneven. Majority of the Brazilians are concentrated within 300 kilometers of the eastern coastal area, also called the coastal lowlands. The density of population in eastern coastal area of Brazil is high. Therefore, agriculture and industries have flourished here. Because of densities there, population is more, agriculture and industry have flourished over there. The interior region of the Amazon basin is very sparsely populated, less populated. Settles occur only in a few places in the Amazon basin due to rainfall, inaccessibility, and dense forest. Population in central and western Brazil is less. Density of population in the Brazilian highland in India, density of population in the Brazilian highland is moderate. In India, it is men outnumber women. In India, for a few decades, we see fluctuations in the sex ratio. In India, there has been a significant increase in the sex ratio after 1991. Sex ratio means the number of females per 1,000 males in a region. The number of women has always been more than men in Brazil. The number of women has never been more than men in India. India has a higher proportion of youth and has higher working population. The graph that shows the age and sex of population is known as population pyramid. Population pyramid is used to study the age and sex related aspects of a region's population. The rate of population growth is decreasing and may not increase in the next 2 decades in Brazil. The number of youth people is more in both India and Brazil. The proportion of people in the age group above 80 years is more in Brazil. In Brazil, the rate of growth of population is has reduced considerably. Okay, so we have already seen this. And increase in average life expectancy is due to improvement in medical facilities, progress in medical field, access to nutritious food. The average number of years a person is expected to live is called life expectancy. India's life expectancy was 41 years in 1960, but now on average Indians live for 68 years. On an average, Brazilian lives for 75 years. Important for objective questions. Now, these are the important, very important for objective, that is fill in the blanks. It will be asked. That is total is 121, Brazil 19 crores. Land area of the world occupied 2.41, 5.6. World population supported 17.5, 2.78. World ranking with regard to population, second, fifth. World ranking with regards to area, 7th, 5th. Population density in India is 282 persons per square kilometers. There is just 23 persons per square kilometers in Brazil. Sex ratio in 2011 was approximately 940 and here approximately 1080. Life expectancy in 2011, 68 years in India, 75 years in Brazil. Literacy rate 2016, 72.2, 92.6. Age structure, proportion of youth is high, proportion of aged people is high. Population growth rate declining growth rate, but population is increasing. Declining growth rate, but population may not increase in the next 2 decades. Population record maintained by Census of India, year IBGE. Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.